adventures of my lifetime. A 44.5-year friendship with Maggie Bovis. It takes a long time to grow an old friend. Maggie helped to shape my life. Χωρίς Magdalene, without Maggie, Greek might not be my third language. I might never have walked from Delphi down through the olive groves to Itea on the Gulf of Corinth, dazzled by wild flowers and almond trees in blossom. I might never have sat inside the Parthenon under a full moon, nor have worked on a boat in the Mediterranean, pulling fish out of the sea at night. I might never have learned to make yogurt by dipping my little finger into the hot milk and counting to 13 to make sure the milk was the right temperature. Maggie shaped my life. To work next to her in the lab, I knelt, so she could teach me to use the lab equipment eye to eye. No matter what I brought to work for lunch, she always added to it. Particularly, I remember exquisite cubes of dried bread and corn on the cob boiled over a Bunsen burner. I soon discovered that behind this great woman was another great woman. Maggie had me over to 4445 Portland to have Pat Lally cut my hair and feed me dinner. And somewhere in there began our long tradition of Sunday night dinners. I believe I am correct in asserting that no one has had the good fortune of having supper with Maggie Bovis and Pat Lally more frequently than I have. I was only 18 when the first dinner happened, so it's understandable that Maggie and Pat still call me and my partner Kevin now the boys, even though I'm 61 years old. How many tomatoes, cukes, how many salads, all with dill from Maggie's garden? How many apples from her trees? Years ago, I had the good fortune of traveling in Greece with Maggie and Pat. We visited Alonissos, Skiathos, Skopelos. 3 strong images remain for me. First, the beautiful vespers that we heard the monks chanting for the bishop who was visiting the islands. Secondly, our frustration at being told that the best food the restaurant had to offer was being reserved for the bishop and his entourage. They still had lentils. And third, on the trip from the islands back into Athens, driving behind a small white pickup truck that had a chase lounge in the back of the pickup on which was secured a corpse wrapped in a white sheet. I watched Maggie and Pat over the years as next door neighbors and those surrounding 4445 Portland would leave, and I saw their concern about who would move in. Into Tom and Stella's house on the corner came a couple whose little girls would inundate Maggie and Pat with their artwork. The girls got Pat's cookies as rewards, and Maggie got more papers. The duplex on the north side was sold to Alex and Aklilu, who turned out to not only be great neighbors, but became good friends. And ultimately, Alex bought Maggie and Pat's house when they moved into the waters. This was a great comfort to Maggie and Pat, because their home was the fountain, was the spring of their hospitality. They bought this house at a time when mortgage bankers had a hard time comprehending something as simple as 2 women buying a house. Maggie championed women's issues in realms from banks to church boards to University of Minnesota employment. Lipopedia. I could go on for hours. Different facets of Maggie, from Theafroso to, well, with Maggie this all runs the gamut, from the sacred to the profane. There was Maggie, the 2007 recipient of the prestigious Patriarch Athenagoras Medallion Award, given in recognition of her outstanding service and exceptional leadership for the betterment of the Greek Orthodox Church in America. Specifically for Maggie, this included her work on the board of the National Forum of the Greek Orthodox Church Musicians and as their head archivist. And there was the Maggie Bovis who, smiling, rang the doorbell of her new next-door neighbor and handed him a small paper bag saying, "Your dog left this in my yard." Imagini afisa, ehi figli. But her visit has enriched us all. Let me leave you with some poetry from Walt Whitman. In her last days, I read a lot of Whitman to Maggie. She seemed to enjoy and even engage with it when day-to-day conversation was no longer possible. So, from Leaves of Grass. Dear friend, whoever you are, here, take this kiss. I give it especially to you. Do not forget me. I feel like one who has done his work. I progress on, the unknown sphere, more real than dreamed, more direct, darts awakening rays about me. So long. Remember my words. I love you. I depart from materials. I am as one, disembodied, triumphant, dead. I bequeath myself to the dirt, to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles. Great hosts like Maggie are also often good storytellers. One of the last things Maggie told me was that after she died, she was going to run up the stairs to the pearly gates 2 at a time. So I encourage each of you to remember, and if you are so moved, please come up here and take the microphone and share a story of what you remember about Maggie.